are listening to Living Lighter Radio. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia, with an ecosystem approach to your life. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio.
Living Lighter provides a revolutionary way to address what's truly holding you back. We have the tools you need to reach your goals and at the same time be living lighter.
Join us now for a Living Lighter experience. This is Living Lighter Radio, and I'm Patricia. I'm here with my husband, Jason, and today we're going to talk and discuss toxic people. One of our most common questions is about what to do with toxic people in our lives. Also, in our last two shows, we did some clearings to change the world, and we'll do some of the same today related to toxic people. Stay tuned. When we use an ecosystem approach to you, which is much different than what you are commonly taught. We see human beings as ecosystems that need to be uncovered instead of programmed. Human potential becomes infinite with our ecosystem approach. Okay, Jason, I know you hate when you read articles or hear about some expert talking about what to do with toxic people in their life. So what's the problem with that, Jason?
Those other experts always talk about things that you can do or say. No, because the problem is not about actions. It's about the energy of the situation. It's the energy that's transferred between people.
You mean back and forth?
Back and forth.
In an exchange.
In an exchange.
Okay.
And since we're all unique, and the toxic people are unique, these one-size-fits-all strategies don't work.
Okay. So how do you define or explain a toxic person, Jason?
Well, there's a couple definitions. We're going to start with our own, okay? This is for, yours and mine, and
okay.
it's someone who disrupts your well-being on a regular basis. Your well-being is an energy, so it's another way of saying it's someone that disrupts your energy. Someone who is toxic to one person is not toxic to another. That's huge.
Yes, it is.
We think that a toxic person is just a toxic person, and everybody thinks that, but for some, there might be someone who's really obnoxious to one person, but another person just says, hey.
In other words, the toxic person's mother wouldn't say that they think they're toxic, right? Is that what you're saying?
It could be a family of toxic people, but they may not see it in each other.
Okay. Yeah,
exactly.
Sure.
So, it's, and here's the most important point.
Okay.
Toxic people are usually the ones that are close to us with whom we're stuck in a relationship with. Like coworkers, bosses, relatives, mother-in-laws, friends of friends, that sort of thing. It's like we have no choice. Our boss is our boss. Our coworkers, we can't fire them.
We want to, though.
We want to.
Well, you know what? At the root of toxic interactions, as you were just talking about, is a negative exchange of energy. Explain that a little bit more, Jason.
As intuitives, we see this in any sort of relationship. There's an exchange of energy,
right?
For you and I, it's usually positive, not always. And it's.
I can't resist. That's a whole other show, and everyone thinks that I'm the toxic one. Let's discuss this at length. Oh, we don't have time.
Well, the truth is that for the most part, Patricia and I, we when we're not together, we miss each other because that exchange is so positive.
Very
in
much.
general.
Very, very much.
It's not that we don't fight. It's not that we don't have disagreements and get snippy with each other.
And I know one of us isn't righteous. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
So, it's a really positive exchange. And frankly, that's why we miss each other when we're not together.
Exactly.
Is that exchange is gone.
Yes.
But the opposite is also true.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people like you say, well, I love my mother, or I love my brother or my sister,
right?
Or my kids even, but then after a day of it, and a lot of people are thinking this because of it, it's after the holidays and you probably had a big connection with family and you're thinking, wow, oh, I'm exhausted. I don't know why I'm exhausted.
Right.
I should feel really happy because I was with my family, right?
Yeah.
That should feed me. Well, we've been doing this for 20 years. A lot of families don't feed that positive energy exchange
amongst themselves.
Yes.
And in fact, I would say that, everybody's kind of having a breath of fresh air because they're not having to deal with family or friends and the obligations with it. And by the way, the obligations to the family and friends is also an energy, but that's not exactly what we're talking about.
Exactly. And this is some definitions I got off the internet
and they're
about toxic people.
And they're pretty darn good.
Yes. Toxic people are manipulative. They're judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
They take no responsibilities for their own feelings. They don't apologize. They are inconsistent.
Yes.
They make you prove yourself to them.
Right.
They make you defend yourself.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, I was reading this thing. Oh my gosh, that's politics today.
Yeah. Boy, isn't that
it's pretty toxic, but
yes.
This is, and we understand this kind of person. We have lots of experience with these kind of people.
Yes.
Some of them are beyond. I never say anybody's completely beyond, but there are choices someone makes, and
meaning beyond hope.
Yes.
Okay.
And I never say that that's completely the case.
Okay.
But a lot of these people, they don't even think that they're the problem, so it's really hard to get to a place where they can make themselves better.
Right.
Because they don't understand the key problem.
Right.
And so if whether you take our definition, which is a disruption in well-being, or this definition, which is much more harsh, I like our definition because the people that come to us, and we've had quite a few, at some point when people come to us with a problem, it's always some type of situation or person,
right?
And it's toxic for them for whatever reason,
right?
And I know my dad had, my dad is no longer here, but he's deceased, but he had very negative energy growing up, and it was really really difficult to me. Now, my mom wouldn't acknowledge it. She would acknowledge it on the surface, around the fringes.
Oh yeah, he's in a mood today.
Yes, something like that.
Right.
But he was depressed, and
which is an energy.
Very judgmental.
Also an energy.
Fearful paranoia.
Also an energy.
Everything that we did was like, oh, you better watch out for that. Oh no,
right.
Don't cross the street. Something really bad could happen. Don't drive down. Don't do this. Don't do that. Something bad could happen.
Right.
And I knew intrinsically, even back then, this was way before I started doing the ecosystem approach, that was really negative. And as soon as I could, I got out of there. I never really came back.
Well, and I'm going to jump in and say one of the things that, because I actually did know his dad, not like he did, but I did know his dad. His dad had this thing that he, yes, he was very toxic, but he wanted other people to be responsible for his toxic behaviors, his toxic energies. In other words, his fears and his judgments. He wanted other people to be responsible for them. He did not want to be responsible for them. And
exactly.
That's a huge key. In other words, if you have somebody toxic in your life, bottom line is what is the nature of that toxicity? That's the way I would say it.
But here's one of my points is that even though he was so toxic to myself and my sister, and even in the household,
right,
and even a lot of the neighbors that got to know him, they just didn't have anything to do with him. But one of the things he liked to do was grocery shop.
Well, he liked to get a bargain. That's all.
He liked to get a bargain and
the best.
And he got very good produce and very good meat because he would befriend the guy at the meat counter or the produce manager.
Right.
And he'd go into the store and say, "Oh, what's good today?"
Right.
He in his technical realm, he made some friends based on certain, he was an engineer, and based on certain things that he knew about, he made friends, and I was always amazed because I was thinking,
how come you can't see the way he
exactly
truly is?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show that toxic people that are toxic to you may not be toxic to someone else. So here's the most important point today.
Okay.
You have to understand your own energy, your own story, to understand how toxic people affect you.
Right.
It's possible that your toxic energy creates a toxic response from others.
How is that possible?
Well, for example, you could be someone who is competitive or jealous.
Okay.
So you have a jealous energy. So when you walk in a room, other people respond to that competition or jealous energy, and it brings out the worst in them, directed at you.
Yes.
And you'll say, well, I'm not doing anything. I'm just standing here, but it's because you're unaware of your own energy. There's fear. You can walk in a room with fearfulness, and the fear will find you.
Right.
Unworthiness, shame. People will pick on you if you feel unworthy or shame.
Right.
You have victim energy. Oh my gosh. Talk about having a kick me sign. Imagine a virtual energetic kick me sign on you. If you have victim energy, anger, if you're a rager, people who rage, they get it out of the system. 5 minutes later, they're fine. Well, the people all around them, it might take them a week to get rid of that anger, and that's just to numb out from it. Doesn't get rid of the anger itself.
Right, and we're actually going to discuss exactly that later on in the show.
Yes.
So, Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
Toxic people have a negative energy connection to you that causes you problems.
Okay.
The negative energy, the negative exchange of energy is present with toxic interactions with toxic people.
Okay.
The best way to deal with toxic people is to clear your own vulnerabilities, your negative energy first.
We're going to do that later.
And the ecosystem approach is always the best way to understand your own energy and how it works in your life or not.
Okay. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to talk about the people who most would agree are toxic and how you deal with them. This is Living Lighter with Jason and Patricia with an ecosystem approach to your life. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Conscious Confidence Radio, a timeless wisdom with Sarah Main. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio and join Sarah on an adventurous journey to the deeper level of meaning to move beyond today's world of constant change, confusion, and uncertainty beyond the shadow of fear. This hit show explores key concepts such as confidence, values, and attitude in a dynamic way. To learn more about Sarah and her work, visit sarahmain.com.
Introducing the Lucid Planet, a digital gathering place featuring cutting-edge, high-vibrational content that will empower and inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. Visit the Lucid Planet today to stimulate your mind, body, and soul as you connect with a global community of like-minded people. The Lucid Planet is edited by renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly Neff, who is here to help you cope with anxiety, connect to your higher purpose, uncover your true passions, and live your dreams. Dr. Kelly's fresh, compassionate perspective emphasizes growth, transformation, healing, and thriving. Even in the face of adversity, say goodbye to bad news and low vibrational media for good and become part of the larger collective of people working together to navigate the global shift of consciousness and transform the world from within. Join the planet, the Lucid Planet. Visit thelucidplanet.com. Welcome home.
This is Debbie Pokornik with a break-free parenting tip. If you haven't been practicing active listening or are getting into some bad habits, it's a good idea to go back to the basics and remind yourself how to be a good listener. Here's an idea that might help. When your child comes to you with a story about her day, set aside whatever you're doing and give her your full attention. If you're in the middle of something that can't be put aside, tell her that you really want to be able to give her story your full attention and ask if you could continue the conversation at a specific time. So, for example, this sounds like an important story and I'd really like to give it my full attention. Can we talk about it in 10 minutes when supper's in the oven? Active listening might sound like common sense, but often it's these simple skills that get buried in our parenting pack and easily forgotten or overlooked. Challenge yourself to practice this skill for a full week and see if you notice a difference in how much your child is sharing.
For information and to work with Debbie, visit empoweringnrg.com.
This is Living Lighter Radio with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And we're talking about the people who most would agree are toxic and how you deal with them. We use an ecosystem approach to you, which is much different than what you are commonly taught. We see human beings as ecosystems that need to be uncovered instead of programmed. Human potential becomes infinite with our ecosystem approach. So there was this guy at the gym that Jason and I go to who always wanted to talk and argue while we were trying to work out. And I have to tell the audience, I had the hardest time with this guy because even if I would see his car parked in front of the gym, my heart would sink because to deal with him took so much. So, Jason, what do you do with people like that? And I know I'm talking about a form of a real extreme here, but still toxic.
Yes. Well, first of all, there's no action, technique, or method that works in all situations.
Sure. Okay.
In this case, we just changed our schedule to avoid the problem. That was the easiest for us.
Right.
We made a choice. We could change our schedule. I knew that at some point there was going to be some sort of confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
I knew this guy. I
mostly for me, audience.
Well, and this has happened more than once. But when she confronts someone, then I step up, and then I'm the one that ends up in the fight. So I knew that.
Isn't that the way it's supposed to be? Sorry.
I knew that, and I even thought about this. He's the type of person that you just say, "Hey, you want to step outside? We're not gonna figure this out right here. You want to step outside?" And I think he would have backed down. But and I knew that was manipulation. It's not my normal go-to strategy.
No, not at all.
But it's for this guy, I knew it would work because he was just kind of a bully.
Yes.
He was simple. He just wanted to argue. He loved to argue about politics.
And I think honestly, Jason, I think he was lonely.
Yes.
But it wasn't my responsibility to fill in the lonely gaps.
Exactly. You already did some things with him. He would come over and talk, and you put
I put my hand up. Yes.
Yeah. Saying, I don't want to talk to you. But, he took that at a front, and then he was going to use that to needle her. That's how he did it. He would confront you
right.
and then needle you or whatever.
And he'd say things like, "Oh yeah, that's the one that doesn't want to talk to me."
Yes.
Very loud, and everybody in the gym would turn around and look, we live in a small town.
He was a bully.
Yes, he was.
And so this segment is about bullies. So here we go. Okay. Bullies create toxic relationships that many struggle with because it's mean and it hurts. Mm-hmm. And typically the recipient who wants to stop the bully with some sort of overt act versus deal with the internal weakness. Mm-hmm. That's a big one.
Yes, it is.
And I'm sorry to say, and there's a few that are listening that are like me in this sense. Okay. For you sensitive souls out there that you struggle with the ability to be assertive or aggressive, it's a very necessary tool to have in your toolbox, and you get that tool with the ecosystem approach.
Right.
I've always been more sensitive and not assertive and not aggressive. Typically, I can be, but there are a lot of sensitive people, introverts that are normally quiet. They shy away from confrontation.
Right.
I guarantee you, if you apply the ecosystem approach, that you have the ability to use confrontation and to speak up when necessary.
I was going to say that.
Yes. I want to say, this is a little story about me.
Okay. It's
kind of funny because in my family, they look to me to the one who speaks up in a social situation. Now, it surprises me because, and I have spoken up a lot of times. I'll make my desires known in where other people just kind of back away.
Right.
And I was never like that before. I was never able to, but since I've been doing the clearing, and typically I'm an introvert. Patricia and I partner really well. She's more extroverted. When we go out in social situations, I'm the quiet one. She's the one that's going out and saying, "Hi, how are you?" Blah, blah, blah. And I'm more likely to be more reserved. I'm much more sensitive to other people. But now that I've been able to clear that fear of being aggressive when it's needed, that's the key point. When it's needed, it's a tool that I have in my toolbox. I can do that, but I'm also still sensitive. So I can do it in a way that is not disrespectful, that it's not brash or overly, like the guy in the gym. I would have said, "Well, you want to step outside," not because I wanted to fight him, but because I knew that would shut him up. It's because my intuition, I knew that would shut him up.
Well, and then I have to put this out there. He would have just kept going with me because I'm a woman.
She was the weaker of the two.
And so he went for that. And, but what he didn't realize is, exactly who I am. And Jason, fortunately did not give him the opportunity to find out. But okay, you have another story here about the man who bullied his wife.
Oh, this was a great one. She started working with us. This guy was, he was cold, he was distant, but he was aggressive. And I think we never talked about this specifically, but I kind of knew this already, that she saw him as being strong, where she was weak. And that's why she was attracted to him.
Right.
And she would talk about how on, like Thanksgiving and the Christmas, he would make these elegant speeches to the whole family about how the importance of family was and that we're all together and we all love each other and it's so great. But she didn't feel love from him at all.
Right.
And so after working with us and using the ecosystem approach for a while, she decided to leave him. And he was shocked. He was oblivious to her needs completely. He was, self-absorbed and he was a bully.
Right.
But I remember he blamed us for putting ideas in her head. Like we were the problem.
Yeah.
That if you, bullies, people that control, which is can be very toxic.
Right.
You need to control the situation.
Right.
He wanted to control her in ways that she felt smothered and unloved. And she said, "I'm not going to live like this. I'm going to find love.
I'm too old to finish the rest of my life." And by the way, I think she was in her at the latest early 50s. But she said to me, "I am too old. I need to go find what it is I want."
Exactly.
And by the way, we didn't tell her to do that. That's
not up for us to do.
No, not at all.
But as we uncovered more and more, she was able to know that this is what she wanted, which is how it should work.
Right.
This is for all the introverts, quiet people, sensitive and emotionally intelligent people out there. And the ecosystem approach is the answer to having more emotional tools in your toolbox. Because and since I'm one of you, that brash, aggressive, loud people seem toxic.
Yes.
They also may lack tact and empathy for how you feel.
Right.
So you need more tools. And the ecosystem approach is the way to get that.
Right.
I wish I could say that there's some magic phrase or
handshake or something.
Some magic wand you could do, or energy technique. People come to this. They see that with some sort of, it almost feels like that they want us to warm up our magic wand.
Yes, they do.
and say, I want to douse him so he doesn't hurt me anymore. But what you have to do is go on the inside and change there so you have some more tools.
Exactly.
Here's another thing that that most people don't understand. Likability is an energy and is often covered by shame. So if you feel picked on, if you feel needled, beat up, made fun of,
right?
I guarantee there's some negative energy there that's attached to you,
right?
That doesn't help you.
So what you're saying, Jason, is when you use the ecosystem approach and you start clearing away your stuff, your baggage, so to speak, that what happens is that parts of you that are authentically you, they start to come forward. They start to come out.
Yes.
And by the way, it's phenomenal. Some of the things that happens. We actually have a story, a little in the next segment about exactly that. That was a part of my story.
Well, and this thing about likability, I think, is a big deal. We often look at watch the news and the weather,
right.
and there are some announcers that just aren't likable.
Right.
And we know that if they just started using the ecosystem approach, if anybody that's listening that's a radio announcer or a television personality, this is your key, because this is what creates likability for more and more people.
Exactly.
And we found the same for ourselves, that as we've been doing this for the last 20 years, we are more likable. It's not that everybody likes us. Some people don't like us. And usually those people that don't like us, we wouldn't like them either. So it works out.
Okay.
But
you have one more story real fast.
There was a time in my life when I seemed to piss everyone off. And this was this is when I first met Patricia, and I was going through the ecosystem approach, and I was clearing my way.
And it was the beginning of it, actually.
It was the beginning.
Yeah.
And I knew that I carried the shame. This is part of my life story. And this shame came up, and people just kind of exploited it, and they didn't like me. Everything I said just seemed to come out wrong. The jokes didn't work. Nothing worked. Where now it's completely different. It seems like even my bad jokes people laugh at.
Well, we'll discuss that.
Patricia's nice to me. She always laughs at my jokes.
Whatever. So. Yeah. So there's one more thing that we're going to talk about.
It's being able to effectively advocate yourself is an energy.
Right.
And that comes from applying the ecosystem approach.
Exactly.
There are toxic work situations. Often in those situations, the ability to advocate for yourself in an effective way to your boss or the people above you, so they can see that you're doing a good job, is really important. And if you're doing a really good job, but no one sees it, that's an energy that you can clear.
Exactly. Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
Bullies often have toxic energy towards some people.
Okay.
And introverted, sensitive people often feel like brash, aggressive people are toxic, but you just need more tools.
Okay.
After clearing a situation, solutions will be revealed, and then you can clear some more. We're going to talk about more clearing situations in the next segment.
Right.
And the ecosystem approach teaches you to understand and then clear any toxic energy of any situation.
Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to teach you how to clear for all toxic people who create problems in your life. This is Living Lighter with Jason and Patricia, with an ecosystem approach to your life. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
You know that moment when you realize you've mastered your wellness, or that you will never fall off the roller coaster of life? Well, yeah, me either. But I still ride unicorns. I will teach you how to become a mindset master. You will learn how your habits and behavior affect the success of your nutrition and exercise, relationships, organization, and so much more. Motivation doesn't arrive in an email, so stop waiting for it. You have to take action, then motivation follows. I am Coach Peggy Wellness. Get out of your comfort zone and recognize the simple truth. We aren't that special. We all have crap to deal with, and we all have a lot more in common than not. I want to spark you into action. We will learn, love, and laugh together. So join me every first and third Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific for Couch, Couch, and Coffee Radio, where you will learn that being happy and healthy is way more than carrot sticks and squats. But talk to you later.
Sometimes being human has its challenges. Our physical health falters, our spirits sag, our dreams don't immediately come to fruition. Welcome to the power of Maximum Medicine Radio. Join me, Doc Martin, in conversations that will blow your mind about healing. In our hit show, Doc Martin addresses the scientific with bridging to the mystical approaches to give you a new narrative about maximum medicine. In this live call-in show, we will journey into the extraordinary genius of the human body and talk about other beliefs that impact being your multidimensional self. We seek the seen and the unseen and explore the earthbound and the otherworldly, all with the purpose of calling forth the maximum you. To learn more about Doc Martin and Maximum Medicine, visit www.sharonmartinmd.com.
Stuck in a roundabout of dysfunction? Learn how to speak your truth to power with host Dr. Kathy Obear. Create real change with smart tools and smart strategies. No frills, no fluff, just life-changing conversations to help get you where you want to be. Extend your reach and become an agent for real change with Kathy Obear. For more information on Kathy and her work, please visit drkathyobear.com. That's drkathyobear.com.
This is Living Lighter Radio with Jason, and I'm Patricia. We're going to teach you how to clear for all the toxic people who create problems in your life. We use an ecosystem approach to you, which is much different than what you are commonly taught. We see human beings as ecosystems that need to be uncovered instead of programmed. Human potential becomes infinite with our ecosystem approach. So I'm sure most people have toxic people in their life. How do you start to fix that, Jason?
The first step and the most important part is self-knowledge, getting to know yourself and your energy. But there's a trap here.
Okay.
This isn't an intellectual exercise. The way you get to self-knowledge is through using the ecosystem approach and clearing away the negative energies.
Exactly.
You can know your life story. You can put it down. You can have some sense of it. But really, that's
just a form of a timeline now.
It's more of a timeline, like a resume, that sort of thing.
Sure.
But that's really not the life story that we're talking about.
Okay.
The best story about that was when I first met Patricia. It wasn't love at first sight. We've talked about that before. And, she was in this department that I was connected to, and everybody in the department knew that she was angry, and they kind of tiptoed around her because they knew if you approached her in the wrong way, she'd get angry with you and fire on you, and people just would step back. It was scary. And even maybe even a little righteous. So when I first wanted to, I was just starting the ecosystem approach at that point. And I was experimenting, and I had talked to her boss, and I took her out for lunch. She thought I was hitting on her. But I suggested this process that I was going to do, and I asked her if she'd be interested, and she was. And I actually
he was very surprised by it, by the way.
Yes, and I actually cleared her over the weekend, and she came back and she said, "What did you do to me?" And she had this amazing response, and that's when I just started to peel back the curtain. But that angry,
righteous, bitter, person.
Uniform. It was almost like she was wearing it. I was starting to peel it back, and since we did some more clearing, I saw that she was actually kind of sweet. Now, most people who know Patricia would not describe her as sweet, but to me, her husband, she's sweet. I love that. And
okay, and I'm going to defend myself just a little bit. If anyone actually knew me and knew my story, knew my emotional story, they would understand I used anger and bitterness and even righteousness as a form of protection. And I did it because when I was just being who I was, and I'm talking about mostly from when I was a kid, I would become somebody's victim. And which then, of course, made me vulnerable. And then it would get even worse. So I figured out early on in life that if I just used anger and bitterness and those, the negative energies, that it would keep people away from me. What I didn't realize is how much it hurt me. And I'm talking about it hurt me not only personally, but it hurt my soul.
And the point of this is that in Patricia's mind, she was aware of a lot of toxic people in her life, before the clearing.
Right.
What she didn't know was that when she would lead with her defensiveness, which was her anger or righteousness, it brought out the worst in some people.
And I didn't realize how, when I was doing this, how I was affecting other people as well.
So in a way, her toxic people then are different than her toxic people now.
Right.
And she doesn't have that defensiveness. She doesn't bring out that reaction in people. Mm-hmm. And there are still toxic people that we interact with every day.
Sure.
And we step away. And usually, for Patricia and I especially, we see them coming.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's hard to describe that. It's we don't have to have days and days of interaction with them to know that they're toxic. We can even see them across the room.
Exactly.
And say, oh,
in less than 5 minutes. Yep. I'll give that timeline there. Less than 5.
And for both Patricia and I, we were able to do that also from the ecosystem approach. So when you start using the ecosystem approach, first of all, self-knowledge becomes available to you.
Right.
Your intuition becomes available to you.
Right.
And you have more tools in your emotional toolbox that become available to you.
Well, and I want to put in, one of the things that I experienced was that after using the ecosystem approach, the things that were revealed to me about me, that how I dealt with other people, I found solutions.
Yes.
It wasn't just a little bit. I mean, I found solutions. And I have to say this. I don't remember. Well, anyway, I believe it was Easter the first time I had actually seen my family, because I lived like 40 miles from them. And when I was first started working with Jason, and the thing that was the most amazing was when I walked into the room, it was Easter, and I walked into the room or walked into the house where the family party was being held. Not one, not two, but more than 3 people came up to me at some point during this party and said, I have no idea what you're doing, but you need to keep it up. You not only look better, you look healthier, but it's just so nice to see you. And never before in my life had I ever experienced anything like that.
This likability, the ecosystem approach, and having more emotional tools, it's all there.
Yes.
Here's one more thing.
Okay.
What most people, and this is the point that we're trying to make with this story, is that most people don't understand their own energy.
Right.
In other words, when we say know yourself, it's important to know your energy, how it's perceived by other people. And most people cannot do that. Yes, it is.
Yes.
So do you have rage? Do you have paranoia? Are you pushy?
Right.
Are you needy? Do you say hurtful things?
Right.
Are you righteous? Do you act superior? Most people do those as a defense, but when they do it, are you competitive?
Mm-hmm.
When you walk into a room and you carry that energy, people, whether they can articulate it or identify it precisely,
they don't want to be around you,
and they react to it.
And what they don't realize is how much you don't want to be around you.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, it's a big deal.
When you start clearing these things, then you really get to the heart of what makes toxic people in your life become toxic people. Now, sometimes you'll find that as you clear yourself and clear your own energy, you see that someone you thought was toxic isn't, and then the other opposite can happen.
Yes.
Where you see people that said, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I missed that one. They were really toxic, and I'm,
right. Right.
I'm going to stay away from them or whatever."
Exactly.
And the same thing is for situations. You can clear those situations, and it'll reveal solutions and answers that you didn't see before.
And that is huge.
Yes.
Just that alone. But not only when things happen, meaning when you start using the ecosystem approach, you personally get better.
Yes.
In all aspects of your life. It's amazing.
It's so exciting.
It truly is. Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
Knowing yourself is the first step to dealing with toxic people in your life.
Okay.
And the most important part of self-knowing is be able to perceive your energy the way others do.
Eye opener.
Yes. After clearing a situation, solutions will be revealed, and then clear some more, and you'll have more solutions.
Okay, love it.
The ecosystem approach teaches you to understand and then clear any toxic energy of any situation.
Okay, I love that.
So should we tell people how to clear?
I think so. Go ahead.
first of all, if you clear something that doesn't affect you, it's not going to hurt you. Clearing is very forgiving, so don't worry about that. Basically, you can sit in any posture you want.
Right.
As we say, and to eliminate, gather up what we say to eliminate, whether it's veils and illusions or a specific emotion, and then blow it into an imaginary trash can.
Okay.
Now, if there's a trash can there, blow it into where you are right now, blow it into that. Otherwise, do it in your mind's eye, create an imaginary trash can.
Mm-hmm. And then after we do that, we're going to activate life force energy, the most powerful energy that any of us has access to. And what we're going to do is we're going to call in that energy. We're going to allow it. We're giving it permission to come in through the top of our head. We're going to let it go all the way down our torso and our arms, and then all the way down to the tips of our toes. We're going to stop it right there. We're going to turn it around. And with that breath, we're going to blow out any negative energy that has been left over for any reason, because we all know negative energy is everywhere. So with that said, anything else I need to say about that, Jason? All right, here we go. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to do some clearings that will help you with toxic people and the toxic situations in your life. This is Living Lighter with Jason and Patricia, with an ecosystem approach to your life. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. Living Lighter Radio with Jason and Patricia. We have an ecosystem approach to your life. Tune in weekly every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio as we, Jason and Patricia, discuss what's truly holding you back. We offer you the tools you need to reach your goals and at the same time be living lighter. For more information about Living Lighter, visit www.livinglighter.org.
Healing has a ripple effect. One person's healing affects everyone around them. This is where the power of sharing our stories can be so important. Tune in to Playing on the Edge Radio with Megan Edge each month on Transformation Talk Radio, as Megan provides you with ways of sustaining radical and powerful changes in your life. Enact the power of radical change. To find out more about Megan Edge, visit her website at meganedge.ca.
Sometimes being human has its challenges. Our physical health falters, our spirits sag, our dreams don't immediately come to fruition. Welcome to the power of Maximum Medicine Radio. Join me, Doc Martin, in conversations that will blow your mind about healing. In our hit show, Doc Martin addresses the scientific with bridging to the mystical approaches to give you a new narrative about maximum medicine. In this live call-in show, we will journey into the extraordinary genius of the human body and talk about other beliefs that impact being your multidimensional self. We seek the seen and the unseen and explore the earthbound and the otherworldly, all with the purpose of calling forth the maximum you. To learn more about Doc Martin and Maximum Medicine, visit www.sharonmartinmd.com.
Lighter Radio with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to do some clearing, meaning using the ecosystem approach that will help you with toxic people and toxic situations in your life. I need to clear that one, don't I? So, Jason, let's rock and roll for a few minutes.
Here we go.
Say? Good.
I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see myself clearly regarding the toxic people in my life and maybe some of the toxic energy that I carry. So gather up those veils and illusions and blow them into that trash can.
You know, we need to stop and say, we use the trash can because if you just blow it out into the air, in other words, if your intention is just, I'm just going to get rid of it and do the clearing without the trash can, understand that the important part is you don't want to leave that toxic energy around you, because then what happens? You get up or you just
walk back into it.
Walk back into it is what happens. So I just need to say that.
And we clean up the trash cans. We'll clean up all the trash cans that are that are out there, and we'll clean that up. So don't worry about that.
Exactly. So, okay, go for it, Jason.
And to eliminate the fears, worries, and anxieties that I have about toxic people in my life.
Love it.
Gather those fears, worries, and anxieties, blow it into that trash can.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see the toxic situations that are in my life with more clarity. In other words, what are the energies there? Take a nice breath, easy. Blow it into that trash can.
And to eliminate any buildup of anger that I have that may be invisible to me. Take a breath. That invisible anger, makes you toxic to other people sometimes.
I'd love to say I don't know what that means, but I do. And to eliminate any bitterness and the need for revenge I have that attracts toxic people and situations to me. Take a breath. Blow it out.
Some people come to us and they always want to have us clear the other person. And some people come to us and say, oh, it's all my fault. And they just want to be cleared. Typically, the all my fault is probably more close to the truth. But, either way, it's never 100% either way. So,
right, exactly.
And to eliminate any neediness, shame, or unworthiness I have with interactions with toxic people. That makes you a victim to bullies. Take a breath.
And here's one for me. And to eliminate the anger and rage that I have about how toxic people treat me. Take a breath.
And to eliminate the shame and guilt that I have that keeps me from using or having other emotional tools to use. Take a breath. No, that's not just the way you are. You don't think you can be, you stand up to bullies and you think that's just the way I am. It's not true.
Yeah, exactly. Because most likely you were trained that that's the way you are.
Yes.
When it's not the truth. So, and to eliminate the training that I have to just take it, accept it, or figure it out regarding other people's toxic energy and bully energy for me. Take a breath. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see toxic situations as emotions and clear them. Whoa, what a concept. Take a breath. Blow it out.
So one of the things we promised you, and we've done this in the last two sessions, last two shows. So if you missed them, go back and listen to them. They're amazing.
Exactly.
But we want to change the world, and we want to do some clearing to change the world in every single show that we do. Exactly. So here we go. And to eliminate and just set your intention right now to help not only yourself, but the person next to you, even if it's at a different time, even if you listen later in the week, doesn't matter.
Right.
It with energy, it still works.
Exactly.
So, and to eliminate all the anger, hate, bitterness that keeps us separated from each other in the world. And imagine a big hand going around the world and then into a big dumpster at the end. Take a breath.
You're getting rid of that anger and hate and bitterness.
And to eliminate any anger, rage, shame, guilt, or fear in the world today that is so toxic for all of us.
Yes.
Again, move that hand all the way around the world into that dumpster at the end.
And to eliminate all of the energies that are keeping us from the clarity that we all need so we can see what is needed in the world, what is right and what isn't right, and know that we can use the ecosystem approach to do something about it. Take a breath.
And to eliminate the poverty, racism, hate, hunger, and indifference to the planet that's present right now. Take a breath and take that hand all the way around the world into that dumpster at the end.
And I have one last one for the world, Jason. Sure. And to eliminate for anyone, for all of us, everyone that is a victim in some way to the negative energies that are out there in the world that are holding all of us hostage and keeping us stuck, incapable of seeing the clarity and what needs to be cleared in the world today. not only for me, but for the world today. Breathe.
That's a perfect example of a twofer. It's for you and for the planet.
Yeah, I love that one. So, Jason, do we have
yes,
activate life force? Here we go. Everyone, I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate life force, the most powerful energy in the world and that we have access to. So I can trust that I can change myself so that toxic people will not affect me. Take a breath. Easy. Pull it, that life force energy in through the top of your head. Let it go all the way down your torso and your arms. And now go into the tips of your toes and blow out any negative energy that's left over.
And to activate life force so that I can get my vital energy from an infinite source of life force as opposed to trying to get it from other people.
Love it.
Which creates toxic relationships.
Yes.
Take a breath.
And to activate life force so I can have the confidence to know how to clear, what to clear, so I can develop new emotional tools in my life, starting right now. Take a breath. Let it go in through the top of your head, all the way down that body, and blow any negative energy left over.
And to activate life force so I can see toxic people clearly and know that I can change the energy.
Love it. And last one, and to activate life force so I can be happy and healthy and creative, have fun and love not only others, but love myself, and ask for peace and harmony and clarity in myself and the world right now. Nice and easy. In through the top of your head. Take a breath. Let it go all the way to the tips of your toes. Blow out any negative energy. Jason, what are we going to talk about next week?
We talked about it today a little bit.
Okay.
About what's your story.
Oh, okay.
It's about your emotional story, but most people think of it as like a resume or a description of what's happened in your life.
Okay.
No, this is about the struggles you've had emotionally. And once you get clear about that emotional story, which the way you get clear about it is what? The ecosystem approach.
I love it.
Clearing away the what you thought was, when Patricia didn't know that she was angry, clearing helped her see that.
Yes.
And she knew that she could be, or she is,
right.
But she didn't realize it was leaking out in the world.
I hate leaking. Okay. So, if some parts of you gets the importance of clearing your essence with the ecosystem approach, mark your calendar. Living Lighter Radio is every week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. If you can't listen at that time, our show is recorded and you can go to our website, www.livinglighter.org. Look for the radio tab.
If you want to change the world with us, if you want to change your own world with us, be part of it.
Yes.
Go to our website right now.
Yes.
Sign up for our newsletter, because every week we have clearings on that newsletter that you could take on your phone, do it every single day,
right.
Do it multiple times a day. You can't clear too much. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't apply to you, it's not going to hurt you. And sometimes this feels like magic because it's cumulative.
Love
and
it.
And the more you do it, the better it is. Now,
and the better you get at it too.
Exactly. And if you have a question, you want to connect with us, you can send us an email at Jason and Patricia at livinglighter.org.
Oh, we haven't said that for a while.
Go like us on Facebook, because I love those likes, at livinglighter.org. That's our Facebook page.
Right.
And we always preview the next show on Facebook, tell you what's coming. And we're looking forward to having you be part of this group.
So, and one more time, we'll connect next week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Transformation Talk Radio, and you're listening to Living Lighter Radio with Jason and Patricia.
Wishing you a lifetime of living lighter.
Thank you for listening to Living Lighter Radio with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. We have an ecosystem approach to your life. Tune in weekly as we discuss what's truly holding you back. We offer you the tools you need to reach your goals and at the same time be living lighter. For more information, visit our website at www.livinglighter.org.